So, current market conditions right now are absolutely brutal, and we have our take on why that might be. Check out the videos that we pumped out this morning if you want to delve into that. But just like in any situation when it comes to crypto, there are opportunities, even in moments like this that are pretty discouraging. Imagine, for example, that you got into NEAR, N-E-A-R, when it was just a $40 million market cap. Today, like other projects, of course, NEAR has suffered, but it's at the $4 billion mark. Another consideration would be Render. It was once also at $40 million. It's now sitting at about $2 billion. So these are 50x moves. These are 50x multiples in terms of project value. Well, we are pretty excited about a low cap altcoin that really occupies the center of artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and coding, with what some are saying has the potential of NEAR or Render, possibly more depending on who you ask. Thousands of developers, for context, are using this project in what's been a relatively short period of time. And it's also trusted already by some of the biggest names in tech. So Samsung, OpenAI, Shopify. The project is MicroGPT. And if you're on the hunt for the next AI crypto gem, something undervalued, something that's been hit just like everything else in this current market, then this project is one you ought to consider. Welcome to the channel. My name is Maddie, and this is Altcoin Buzz. Tough times right now in the crypto landscape, no doubt about it. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But like anything, if you're contrarian now, and if you still believe in those projects that through no fault of their own have taken a hit, 20, 30, 40, 50% in some cases, it's a pretty good time to be a contrarian. At least you'll thank yourself in the future for taking action now, for investing into quality projects when they are deeply, deeply discounted. And if that's what you choose to do, I wish you very, very well. As a disclaimer and a reminder though, I'm not a financial or investment advisor, so just remember that this video also is not official financial or investment advice. Let's break down today's topic with an overhead view, wide-angle perspective of what is MicroGPT to begin with. It is, to put it simply, a tool that helps developers code faster, more intelligently, more efficiently using artificial intelligence. That's it. I'm not a coder, I'm not a programmer, but there are a lot of you out there that are. And if you ever struggle with writing code or kind of by extension, things like fixing bugs, making your programs work, then this is the kind of project, MicroGPT, that can help. We all have apps, we all have programs that we use on a regular basis. And if you're really familiar with them, if you use them all the time, you probably notice all kinds of bugs. For me, just speaking from personal experience, when I do video editing, even with the latest update that comes out of my video editing software, it's filled with bugs. It's just like, it seems it's something they can't avoid. And with every new iteration, there are improvements, but it's almost like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And the fact is, it's difficult to find them and to catch them all, especially when you're writing new code and new updates with unforeseen bugs that are attached to that. Well, MicroGPT fixes this. Maybe you're not a coder, maybe you're not a video editor, but here's a real world example that I can provide. You're cooking your favorite meal, you're going to need multiple ingredients. And if you don't have to run around the kitchen for all those different ingredients, maybe a dozen or more, instead, for example, there's a bag by your side with everything you need. It's just going to make things a whole lot easier. And as an analogy, that is effectively what MicroGPT does for developers. It puts all their coding tools in one place, and that means they don't waste time searching for solutions. They save energy and they save time. So why is it a big deal? Well, the thing is that coding, as I've kind of talked about already, can be hard. It's certainly time consuming. Sometimes you're stuck on a bug for hours. It's not clear or evident what's causing it. Other times you just need a little nudge to finish the work. Whatever the case may be, the thing is that MicroGPT makes things easy, again, by using AI to guide developers in real time. So that means instead of spending hours fixing errors, minor errors, major errors, whatever, also writing documentation or improving code, MicroGPT does it in seconds. KISS, right? Keep it simple, stupid. Better to work smart than to work hard. And it's actually kind of like Grammarly, right? It's the equivalent of Grammarly, which is an AI writing tool, but meant specifically for code. If you're familiar with Grammarly, then you know that it checks your grammar and fixes mistakes. And so in the same way, MicroGPT does this for coding. It detects things like errors, but also improves your code and even suggests better ways to write it. And the best part seems to be that developers love it because thousands of developers have already started using it. According to many of their testimonials, it just makes coding feel easier and effortless. There are several benefits that these developers get from using MicroGPT. So for example, number one, and as I've mentioned, it provides real-time context-aware suggestions. And that just means that MicroGPT provides instant code suggestions based on what you're working on. That's whether you need a small snippet or a full section. Either way, it suggests what it needs to in order to fix your code. And of course, that means less thinking, less searching, less busy work, more coding. Number two, and very importantly, it makes sure that developers get custom feedback to match their particular style, since everybody, even in terms of coding, is different. Some of the developers out there are going to want a lot of help, which is possible. Others will just kind of want some minimal guidance, which is also an option. So there's a spectrum here, right? The point is that MicroGPT lets you customize exactly how much assistance you get. And the goal here is that it feels natural, and either way, it's going to adapt to your style, whatever that may be. Number three, it provides automated code refactoring. This is kind of like cleaning up your room in one click, basically. So MicroGPT tidies up your code. It makes sure that it follows best practices and is efficient. Number four, developers enjoy intelligent debugging because we know that fixing bugs can be tedious. It can be technically challenging. It can be a nightmare, basically. Even great software does have bugs, as we've been discussing. But with MicroGPT, you get smart error detection as you type. And that just means that it catches mistakes early as they happen, so that later you don't waste hours trying to figure out what went wrong. Number five, it supports multiple programming languages. And that means that whether you code in Python, or JavaScript, or Solidity, or whatever, any other major language, MicroGPT has you covered because it understands different programming languages, thus making it perfect for all kinds of different projects. And at number six here, it offers documentation assistance. Nobody likes writing documentation, I'm told, when it comes to developers. But it's important. That's what I'm also told. MicroGPT automatically generates inline comments and documentation, so you don't have to do it manually, which means your projects stay organized without that extra effort. And perhaps most important of all, MicroGPT is valuable, very simply, for both developers and investors. If you're a developer, MicroGPT will save you time. It's going to reduce stress. It's going to make your coding better and smoother, both in terms of the experience and in terms of the outcome. And then, as I mentioned, if you're an investor, well, this is kind of what interests us, right? This is a low-cap gem in the AI crypto space. It's got massive potential, which is already growing as more and more developers choose to use it. MicroGPT is also pretty reliable. It runs on advanced AI models built by MicroGPT, but also OpenAI and Microsoft. And these models have been trained using natural language text and publicly available code. And this includes open source projects from GitHub. Part of what makes MicroGPT different from other tools is that it uses AI in an intelligent way to simplify coding. A look at some of the tools that it has include, number one, the dashboard. So MicroGPT's dashboard is where developers manage everything in one place. This helps with authentication, securely logging in, managing accounts. Also GitHub integration, connecting and interacting with repositories. Analytics, meaning you can track project data and performance, and revenue tracking. That's where you can monitor earnings and expenses. There's also the micro editor, which is coming soon. It's a tool that's going to change how developers write and optimize code. It will offer AI-powered code improvement, natural language processing search, or NLP, quick code summarization, automated folder organization, and security checks to prevent vulnerabilities. There's also an editor plugin. This is a favorite feature among developers. It's a plugin that makes coding more intuitive. It does this by offering error detection and correction, logical error fixes, code explanations, predictive suggestions, that's to speed up coding, and smart search and summarization. Then there's also the extension tool. This brings extra power to developers by providing code review and optimization, error resolution, and just really clear explanations of code logic. And finally, we have micro alerts. These are automated alerts that ensure developers stay updated on changes to things including GitHub commit detection, AI-driven change analysis, auto-generated announcements, that's for quick updates, And then communication, of course, is also a big deal for MicroGPT. The idea is not just to code, but to help developers get feedback. It has tools called Microbot and Telegram Bot, and these tools help developers receive automated updates, project announcements, and direct feedback on their coding. And so the idea here is just to facilitate better communication and ensure a smooth workflow. Individuals or entire developer teams can buy the package in a SaaS-like model, and then obviously use these tools to finish big, important projects a lot faster. They also introduced a new concept. This is called Code to Earn. And here you get rewarded with the micro token for your work. That's MICRO. Now brace yourself because just like everything else in the market, the micro token is down pretty significantly. But micro is what powers the entire MicroGPT ecosystem. We took a deep and critical look at their tokenomics, and we like the fact that they focus on long-term utility. Here's a quick breakdown. So early backers, angels at 8% and seed investors at 15%, these got in early at discounted prices, and these guys helped to fund the initial development. Then we had the public sale, 20%. They set aside a big chunk for public contributors at an average price of 0.35 pennies or $0.0035 per token. Ecosystem and rewards. So Code and Earn, 10%, incentivizes developers, and staking, 10%, that rewards holders. They set aside a full 10% for marketing, thus ensuring adoption. Team and advisors got 8%. This is reserved for those building and really guiding the project. 5% was for liquidity and exchanges, which ensures smooth trading. Micro is already listed on Uniswap, MEXC, and Gate.io. So here we have a tokenomics model that ensures early backers and the community benefit. The Code and Earn allocation really does stand out because it directly incentivizes developers, which is actually something that not many AI crypto projects focus on. The staking and ecosystem funds here also ensure long-term utility. Again, that's something that we noticed. That's something that's important to us. And it prioritizes that rather than just speculation. The total is 1 billion tokens, and we sit right now at a price of about 1.3 cents. The market cap is also looking very appealing at just under $10 million. We've covered a lot in this video, but it comes as no surprise given what this project is doing that they can boast some pretty big and credible partnerships with the likes of OpenAI and Samsung. And this is part of the appeal here. If MicroGPT is not yet on your radar, maybe you're hearing about it for the first time, it should be, because again, a market cap right now of under $10 million. It also just so happens to be deeply discounted on the day that I record this and that you're going to be getting this information through no fault of its own, right? It's suffering along with the rest of the market. Check it out. It ought to be on your radar. It's got a lot of room to grow and to expand from here.